Hey there, Exiles. This is how far apart you need to place two bases so that one avatar can't destroy both of them. If you walk in a straight line for about 4 minutes before you build your second base, you'll be safe. Avatars are ridiculously powerful in Conan right now. Avatars are gods you can summon to level your enemy's bases. Therefore, you have to take them into account when designing your builds. An avatar is active for 60 seconds, and you can destroy a massive base during that length of time. An obvious way to counter this is to have multiple bases separated from each other. That way an enemy can't destroy all of your bases with one avatar. Doing this is more complicated than you might think though. An avatar can travel a surprisingly far distance with just one use. The purpose of this video is to provide data on how far an avatar can travel, so that you can understand how far apart you need to place two bases from each other to prevent both from being destroyed by one avatar. To begin, I placed 140 foundations in a straight line to try to get an understanding of how many foundations an avatar can cover in 60 seconds. I was quite surprised to learn how far avatars can actually travel. Set is the fastest. It took Set only 20 seconds to travel about 140 foundation tiles. I'm going to summarize the results while I let the video play. You don't have to take my word for any of this. You can watch the video and see the evidence. The opening clip I just played of me walking between bases is sped up 7 times, in case you want to do the math on that one. As I'll explain in a second, that distance was actually a bit short though. Back to the avatar, Set's the fastest, but Yogg is almost as fast. Yogg seemed to travel about 120 or 30 foundations in 20 seconds. Now, obviously you cannot easily measure out hundreds of foundation tile lengths to decide how far apart your bases should be, but I did come up with an easy system for measuring on the go in-game. Walking, not sprinting, it took my character about 80 seconds to cover those 140 foundation tile lengths. You don't want to sprint because based on your stamina you'll cover different lengths in different amounts of time based on your character stats. Walking speed provides a good baseline. Put all that together and that means Set can travel in 60 seconds, the equivalent of what you can walk in about 4 minutes. Yogg can travel the equivalent of what you can walk in about 3.5 minutes. Perhaps slightly more. Mitra, on the other hand, is bizarrely slow. I'm going to speed this part of the video up to triple speed, but you'll see the clock on the screen. It took Mitra 55 seconds to travel the full 140 foundations. This seems quite strange. Yogg can fly, and so it makes sense for Yogg to be a bit slower than Set. Mitra goes at a snail's pace compared to Yogg and Set. I'm wondering if Mitra does more damage more quickly, but I saw no evidence of that. If someone knows why Mitra is so slow, maybe you can let me know in the comments. For completeness, here's a 7 times speed clip of me walking the distance that 140 foundations covers. Again, it took me 80 seconds to do this. I'm going to close with a clip of me sending Set after 2 bases spaced apart. These 2 bases are a 3-minute and 10-second walk from each other. I didn't have enough space for the full 4-minute walk, and I wanted to see if this would be enough. 4 minutes should be considered the absolute safe distance, I think. As it turned out, this distance actually shouldn't have been enough. But Set runs out of steam just before it can destroy the second base. Set gets stuck on top of a hill above the base, as you'll see. 4 minutes, or maybe even 3 minutes and 30 seconds, will probably always be safe because your opponent will have to release the avatar behind your first base, and they'll probably spend a few seconds destroying the first base. That means that if you place your bases 4-minute walks from each other, your enemies will need at least one avatar per base. Avatars make base building quite a challenge in the current state of the game, since it really discourages builders from designing large bases. At the same time, I can definitely see how avatars can make the game more interesting. In a game like Rust, large clans have basically unrateable bases at the end of a week, and so most large servers wipe weekly. In Conan Exiles, players can use avatars to basically wipe the map themselves. I made this video to help myself and all builders understand how to create designs to mitigate the destructive power of avatars. I hope you found it useful and interesting. Thank you for watching.